When it comes to heinous crimes like murder, one would expect the perpetrator to at least show some remorse for their actions, especially in front of the victims' families. However, some killers seem to lack any sense of empathy or guilt, and their behavior during court proceedings can be shocking and disturbing. Jeremy Christian, a man with a violent and hateful past, committed a heinous act of violence in May 2017 that left two men dead and one injured on a Max Light rail train in Portland, Oregon. The incident began with Christian shouting racist and anti-Muslim slurs at two black teenagers, which led to the other passengers confronting him and trying to protect the frightened teens. But Christian, armed with a knife, escalated the situation, eventually stabbing three passengers, killing two and injuring one. After his 12 seconds of madness, he fled the scene but was later arrested. During his trial, Christian showed no remorse for his actions and even threatened one of the victim's relatives in court. He was ultimately convicted of 2 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder and sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms, plus an additional 25 years for other charges stemming from his criminal past. His actions were a stark reminder of the danger posed by far-right extremism and hatred in our community. Randall Moore is on trial in Polk County for the brutal murder of his ex-wife Therese Ann in November 2011. Moore had abducted, sexually assaulted, and eventually killed Lynch after she had filed a restraining order against him. In a chilling phone call to 911, Moore explained that he murdered his wife because he wanted to see his 7-month-old son. During the trial, Moore showed no remorse for his actions, interrupting the victim's family's impact statement to justify his heinous crime. Judge Joel Novak was appalled by Moore's lack of humanity and sentenced him to 3 life sentences for the murder and an additional 25 years for shooting Officer Rowland, a harsh penalty for an unforgivable crime. Camilla Gammett's trial for the murder of her boyfriend Marcel Hill was nothing short of shocking. In a fit of rage, Gammett used household items such as a frying pan, a knife, and a floor lamp to repeatedly stab and bludgeon Hill to death in May 2018. Despite her claims of self-defense, the court found her guilty after evidence showed that she acted with brutal intent, stabbing Hill 12 times. Even during the victim impact statement, Gammett showed no remorse and continued her disruptive behavior, leading the judge to threaten to tape her mouth shut. Ultimately, Gammett was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, with the judge expressing his hope that she would die in prison for her heinous crime and history of domestic abuse. Keith Ellen Ferguson faced a jury on 12 felony counts, including first and second-degree murders and kidnapping. In front of their children, he shot his wife Tiffany Ferguson and killed his father-in-law James Weber. During the trial, Keith showed no remorse for his heinous acts and cursed at the judge and court officials. Tiffany's best friend spoke out, revealing that Tiffany had been living in fear of Keith. Keith shockingly declared that he had no desire to see or communicate with his children again, prompting Judge George Mertz to question his sanity. Keith was ultimately sentenced to life imprisonment without parole for the murders of his wife and father-in-law. Ronnie O'Neill III stood trial for the gruesome double murder of his 9-year-old daughter and 33-year-old girlfriend. He shot his girlfriend and then brutally attacked his daughter with an axe, repeatedly striking her until she died. He also stabbed his 8-year-old son, who managed to escape the burning house with severe injuries. Ronnie fled the scene, but was eventually caught and arrested. During his trial, he represented himself, cross-examining his son, who was a witness for the prosecution. Ronnie was found guilty of 7 charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder, and received 3 life sentences without the possibility of parole. The judge described it as the worst case he had ever seen, and Ronnie remained unapologetic about his heinous crimes. In conclusion, killers who showed no remorse to their victims' families in court add an extra layer of pain and suffering to an already devastating situation. The lack of empathy and disregard for the feelings of others is a frightening reminder of the capacity of human beings for evil. So that brings us to the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, then please consider pressing the like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this going forward. Do check out some of our other videos that you see on your screen right now. We'll see you next time.